Hello, hello, hello. Well. What up, internet? How are you today? What's up, Flag? Good luck with the crime. I mean, I didn't see or hear anything. Okay, so let's find some. Got this new pin today I wanted to try. Okay, something like that. Okay, that pin's not that bad. It's a little scrapey, maybe, but whatever that means. Pin, it's got like a flat edge. Okay, maybe something like that. His legs look a little small. What's up, Samira? Hallenbeck. What's up, Mia? Oh, it looks okay. I just started. This is the first drawing of the day. I gotta get a little warmed up, you know? We gotta get a little bit warmed up first. But thank you for coming in here and being kind. We're just we gotta take a couple drawings to get completely warmed up. What's up, Tom? Thanks. Very nice of you. Okay, well, Mia, Tom, Hellenbeck, y'all do me a favor, like the stream and go subscribe. That's very kind of you to say. One day you'll be popular. Are you saying that I'm not currently popular? Oh, but I get it. Thank you for your encouragement. It's very nice for you to come in here and say something nice. The internet full of people that come in and say the meanest, dumbest things they can think of. Thanks for coming and saying something nice, you know? I appreciate that. Also, I'm working with a pen like I've never really drawn with before. Oh, that's a rough pose, but let's just get them done. Let's get them done. You got to get a couple like rough drawings out for, I have to get a few rough drawings out before I can kind of like really get cooking, you know? So we'll just do a bunch of small drawings on a page till I'm warmed up. I'll sub, but I have to go. Have a good day. Thanks, Tom. Like everyone, just keep up the good work, but I can't even make videos or go on all lives because I'm young and that's why I'm just a small creator. Well, keep working at it, Mia, and you'll be a big creator. Thanks for liking the stream, Hallenback. See you, Tom. Thanks for hanging out. Arm here. Like this. Okay, and back here. Okay, so I'm just trying to, this is just a gesture drawing is what they call it. So I'm just trying to like grab the drawing, the pose as fast as I can, like kind of disregard detail. And it looks easier than it is. It's really pretty difficult to kind of like nab the drawing in a small amount of lines. So but you should give it a try sometime if you're an artist or if you're interested in being an artist. Like instead of like I'm gonna draw every detail and make this the most realistic drawing. This is kind of like a numbers game. So instead of like trying to put a bunch of focus into my drawings, the game is to just like do a bunch of drawings, and then over time the speed like kind of dictates a style, and also it allows me to like draw live, you know, if I in the real world if I see something. Yeah, thanks for being here, Tom. Be safe. Yo, be sure and like the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Do it now. Subscribe to the channel. What's up, Josh? How you been, my guy? How's that new song coming along? How's the PRS? How's that Silver Sky? How's the puppies? How's the humidity? I'm supposed to be coming out there June. You should come hang out. Bring your guitar, maybe play a little bit of a jam with us. Maybe, you know. Oh, a little out of control there with the lines, but I don't know why we drew so many lines there. I mean, I kind of did. Okay, there's one, there's another one. So I cross over. Let's get that foot there. She kind of got this funny little haircut. Okay, that's the beginning. Let's see if we can fill it out with a little bit of, with some shadows. Let's see. What's up? Josh says, "What's up, Bubba? It's getting there. I'm working on a lyric video for the long street." Oh, that's cool. The rough the music and the shit. Very cool. We'll have to check it out. Also, we have a Discord. Any of the new guys want to check it out? Are you drawing your subscribers or something? I am not, Sugar Soul, but if you want me to draw you, I can. I've had a subscriber tell me to draw their I'm just drawing like figure drawings, you know, just trying to get the layout of a human body kind of per se, you know, so I can really understand anatomy, draw, and then I could draw better from imagination. Makes sense, I guess. Okay, trying to get this right. So maybe this needs to do something. That. We could try it again. I'm also using this new pen, so not sure if I love it. A couple weeks ago, I just got back from Florida. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry, dude. You drew once back in. uh, thank you, Sugar Soul. That's very nice of you to say. That's the cool thing about art is like it's a fast way to show people what you're thinking or how you're feeling or you know expressing yourself in a way that allows people to see what's inside your mind. You know, words do that too. You know, you could use words the same way or maybe dance or poetry or music, you know, ways to kind of communicate your ideas to an audience. Just to people in general, not to an audience necessarily. But paper cut. It's a pen. The new thing. See how it's got a flat tip like that? It's interesting. Let's see. I keep picking up a C4, so I guess this is where we at. So now we're just gonna try to find like the shadows. Is the idea. You know, first we draw the gesture, contour lines. Then you come back and just try to capture the shadows. The whole time I'm trying to like uh, constantly remind myself that it doesn't have to be a wonderful drawing. It just needs to be a drawing. So I just blow through them real fast and then I had to take a day after, I'm done drawing, maybe tomorrow or some other time, and then try to decide if I like the drawings. But it's a practice in like not judging yourself while you're cooking. Like just get through some of these ideas and then tomorrow we can judge. Sugar says, I love creating and being artsy. That's very cool. What kind of stuff do you do, Sugar? Mm, okay, something like that. Okay. Just trying to get this drawing out as fast as possible. Okay. Trying to get warmed up today. Kind of having trouble. Reduce it down. That's not too bad. Maybe it's looking a little more like that. All right, let's find some shadows. I paint mostly. Sugar says I paint mostly. Used to draw when I was younger. I like to play around with hair and makeup sometimes. Well, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's cool. What kind of stuff are you building in Minecraft? But yeah, humming little melodies. That's also music. Your hair and your makeup is such a great example of like a creative outlet. Very cool that you like have all those nuanced views on what your creative outlet is because sometimes you got to remind people that art isn't just drawing. Art is dancing and singing and creating in any kind of form. I think we often just think of it as drawing or painting or something, but art is music and fashion and writing and photography and so many other wonderful ways that you can express yourself. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Alright, so I'm just still just trying to find the contour of this body here and also like dealing with the self-talk, like to remind people that like even though I've been drawing my whole life, like I still deal with that same thing that I think everybody deals with when they're drawing, that that voice in the back of your head that keeps going, nope, 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 that's not right. And I know everybody who does art, or you don't even have to do art, you can do anything to understand that little voice that'll constantly jump up in your head and try to tell you what you're doing isn't good enough yet. It's like I haven't even got started. But I just like to remind people that like, that's all part of the process. Everybody's dealing with that's internal dialogue as well. And like this particular type of drawing, like part of the thing I love about it is that you have to like practice taking that self inner dialogue and telling it to like, dude, shut up, bro. I'm fucking excuse my language. I'm doing something else right now, and I don't need you to tell me that I'm not doing a good job or whatever it is, and just acknowledging that voice exists through the whole process and like sometimes you could just ignore it, and that's part of what I love about kind of this style of drawing is like the amount of practicing telling that voice to shut up. It's kind of fun to me. That's really unique to watch you draw like this. I'm gonna have to give it a try. Yeah, you should. I didn't invent it. You could Google like gesture drawing or contour drawing or um like endless line or single line drawing. There's a different ways to look at it. What I used to do so much shit, and I have ideas on how I could get back into it. I love the art style. Well, that's awesome, television. I'm glad that kind of gave you some ideas. Be sure and subscribe to the channel. Like the stream. Tell me a little bit more about your ideas, television. I like the flow of the painting more because when I draw, it's almost like getting writer's block. Well, yeah, and I think if you practice this thing, so check this out, sugar. So like when I'm drawing, like before I even put the line down, like I'm already saying you can't do this. I'm already having writer's block, right out the gate. I'm having writer's block, but I just put it. I always start with just like a circle, like this exact shape, and that's kind of like a head, but like it's not really, but I can kind of look at the drawing almost like at some point like you're doing a sculpture, right? So like these lines, they're not the perfect lines. And as I do the drawing, I start to realize that um I don't need the perfect lines. I just need some lines. And there's this little game that you play, like you might when you're looking in the clouds and you kind of see a picture in the clouds, you know, um, you're not like drawing that picture in the clouds. It's just kind of peering out of our imagination. And I think there's something here where the scribble in a way, if you keep it loose enough, you're allowing the audience to kind of participate in a way where they might see something in a cloud. And I try to keep that kind of philosophy going the whole time. Like I don't want to put too many lines down. I don't want it to be too realistic. It's like how much can I do and it still allow the audience to participate in the drawing with me? So like sometimes when you sit down and you draw, instead of like, and we'll do some more active like drawing next, but like you can actively like just avoid um uh because writer's block I think is like when people think about it like, oh, I'm in this period of writer's block, or I can sit down and I can't think of anything. And I think like that's like the normal state of like being is like not knowing what to do or what to draw. But I think that if you dial that in, if you're like, I know that it comes with the territory, that there's going to be times and where I can't think of what to draw, or like even like if you say like within every process, there's a time where I don't know what I'm going to draw. But if you start dialing in that writer's block as part of your process, um, you can pop out of it every single time, and I'll show you a little trick as soon as we get done with this sketch here. Okay, so that's not too bad. I don't hate that. What do you think? So yeah, let's try it, sugar. So anybody here in the chat, y'all can play along too. But sugar, what I'm gonna do is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a scribble on a sheet of paper, and we're gonna try to figure out what it looks like. So I just gonna not even pay attention. I'm just gonna put some noise down. Okay. Can you see anything in that? Do we see a picture here in these random scribbles? And think of it like when you look at a cloud. You know, if you look at a cloud, you might see a bear or a dragon. What's up, Simone? You see a girl sitting like a fairy? Oh, yeah. Is she facing away from us? This is... Okay, I think I see her too. Let me try to kind of bring it to light. So maybe her head is here, and let's put her hands out here, right? And her feet are back here, maybe. We'll have another wing here, something like that, right? Does that bring the picture even closer to what you were seeing? You know, and then if maybe we try to bring in just a little bit of shadows here, like maybe show some shadow under her feet and besides her wing, and maybe this hand here and her hair, something like that. And the wings or something like this, maybe here, right? You know, and just for fun, maybe she's got a little antenna like this. And extend her little wings so they're a little more fantastical. Little toes back here. And maybe we put another one of her hands up here, you know. So you see, sugar, like if we play the whole game like that, like then there's no way you can have writer's block or creative block, because let's try again. Let's just put down some more noise here and see if we can see something. All right, we see anything in that noise? And yeah, anybody can play along who's in the chat with us. We're just gonna put some noise, some scribbles down on a sheet of paper and see if our imagination can see something in it, kind of like you would with a cloud in the sky. See a fly buzz. Oh, I see the fly is right here, huh? Okay, where I gotta see the dog. Are these ears? This is an ear, this is an ear, maybe. Okay, I see the ears, but I'm having trouble seeing the rest of the face. Is his nose down here? Where's his nose? The dog's nose. You're pointing at the neck. So is this an eye? Oh, this is the nose? Well, either way, you get the point, right? Though, sugar, right? That the block is all part of the process. Here's the nose. I do see the fly. You see an angry ghost cat? It's a pretty good creative input. Well, yeah, but Sugar, do you also get the point? Like, if you ever feel like you have some kind of struggle, or you ever feel like you have some kind of block, let's do one more, and then I'm gonna do some more gestures. That you can try this game and see what comes out of it. What do we think? Do we see anything in that one? Yeah, dude, sometimes they're tough, aren't they? That's just like a cloud. Like every cloud doesn't look like something, but that's a good point of this whole practice is like sometimes you don't see anything in the clouds. Check this out though. Check this out. What about now? All I did was turn it upside down. It's giving face. I think so. I think so. So like something like that, right? Oh shit. But like this little game that we're playing where we kind of apply the lines first, right? And then we judge it afterwards. It gives us some freedom and it also gives us like permission to make mistakes and not to judge ourselves too hard and not to get too uncle on you. But like I think those little lessons of like when you were like, "Hey, I'm block or I have a creative block or something," where it's like give permission to yourself to be like it's okay, it's a normal part of the process. Having a creative block is not something to fear. I think fear is like what leads you into being blocked, because the truth is that every line doesn't matter, that you can just um like take that same idea, that same process of just putting lines down on the paper, and like some of these lines aren't going to matter, right? And they're not going to be the right lines. But if I kind of play that same game of like hoping that I see something in the cloud a bit. So then I can kind of play two games at once, where you have this one game where it's like all the memory and knowledge of drawing that I have, and then it's also like this self-talk game that I've taught myself not to judge. And now I'm doing both. I'm drawing something from life. Um, I'm leaving it loose in a way where it's like the audience still has to participate with me to kind of like find the drawing, just kind of like in the same way you might um should we put the stool here? In the same way that one might see in the clouds. So, and I'm trying to meet the audience halfway. So, like, I want to do a little bit of like, hey, here's reality, here's what I'm seeing, here's what it is, but also like that ain't a foot. You know what I mean? What's up, Dawn? It's like that's not a foot. All these individual pieces, like, they don't really make a whole lot of sense. Used to put down lines without I was putting enough to actually make my brain see the vision. Oh, that's a pretty good conclusion to come to, Sugar. What's up, Dawn? I saw that comment you left us earlier. I sure appreciate that, Dawn. Thanks for subscribing. But like, so we're playing a combination of like games here where it's like, what's up, Brinkley? Thank you so much. You know what? I talked to these lines, and that they told me that they also liked you. So that's a pretty good thing. That's a good coincidence. And I was just talking to Sugar Soul about like the process of how we draw in this way, where part of it is memory and drawing and all the stuff we learn in life, and part of it is kind of like looking into a cloud and allowing a little bit of your imagination to kind of define the drawing. And when I say your imagination, it's like not just, I mean, all of our imagination. Um, the artist's imagination, the viewer's imagination, where it's like, you know, if you look at this, like that's not a hand. That is not a hand. Dawn, what kind of art do you do? You want to tell us a little bit? Also, I just remind y'all that we're also vertical and horizontal. If you want to jump over to the horizontal stream, you can see my face over there. If you just click on my if you click on the name and go to the live part of the channel, you'll see that we stream vertically and horizontally. So if you want to see just a close up of the drawing, that's what the vertical is for. But if you want to see my dumb, ugly face, you can come check out the horizontal stream and you can see my face and the drawing at the same time. Also, we are streaming on Twitch as well as we are streaming on YouTube. So if you want to check out the Twitch. So sometimes if you hear me talking to a chat and you don't see the chat, it may be because they are on one of the other. Just to remind you, if anyone cares. All right, we may have rendered that one too far, but it's fun to see the lines come together, right? It was just kind of like this loose grouping of drawings. That's the gesture, but once we start putting the shadows down, it starts to give the image some weight. But it's like it takes like the combination of the two, and like each individual line doesn't matter. It's like the combination of everything. What's up, 628? It's a high heel. Dawn, tell me a little bit about your art. DSFF. I don't think that's self-taught. I was drawing. My mother was a painter, so my mother taught me to paint when I was a little kid. I could paint uh, before I could write my name. But like I've drawn my whole life. But I did eventually go to art school, but I went to art school for music and programming. I didn't go to art school for drawing. I went for programming and music, but I've drawn my whole life, and I don't think so. I think self-taught is kind of a myth. Like the only way you could possibly be self-taught, it's like there's just like so much internet and so many ways to like learn art that like if you really love art, you're gonna seek out lessons. You're gonna want to learn from YouTube videos or other artists or paintings, and it's like self-taught to me means like you're not really that into it. Because if you really loved art, I think you would try to learn everything about it. And that's not true of just art, but like that's true of anything. I always say that time is talent and time is love. If you spend a lot of time on something or with something, over time, people are going to say that you're talented at that. Also, same thing. If you spend enough time with something or on something, I think that's what love looks like, you know? So like the idea of being self-taught as an artist to me kind of seems like a bit of doesn't really go together. It's like if you love art, you should be taught by everyone and everything. Like the act of art is like learning constantly, you know? Does that make sense? Oh, look, Rusty's back. You weirdo. That's his name. That's his name, yeah. But does that make any sense? I don't mean to rant about it, but like I feel like self-taught is kind of like is someone like trying to brag about not caring, and even though like I could draw my entire life, because my mother was an artist, like I guess I was taught by my mother maybe, or but like I said, it doesn't make sense. If you really love something enough, you'll spend time with it. And does it make sense? And that's how we learn. No, it's okay. You don't have to apologize to me for being busy. Thanks for the talk, brother. Been thinking about going to school to France for art. Do it, dude. If that's what you want to do, like, I love it. I love it. Do you draw right now, DSF? Um, there are so many wonderful tutorials on YouTube and so many great artists out there right now that you can like learn from. And and again, if you're like, "Oh, I don't know if I was born with the talent." Dude, time is talent. Time is talent. If you can spend time on something, you can be talented at it, you know? But, the best way to spend a lot of time on it is to love it. So if you feel like you love it, give it a shot. Man, I have to, so I can get accepted. I didn't really have time for my own channel. Well, I'm sorry. Rusty says I haven't had any time with his own channel. What kind of stuff are you planning for your channel, Rusty? If anybody wants to follow Rusty, your local weirdo Rusty, anybody in the chat, give him a follow. Give them a follow. I'm sorry if I misgendered you. DSF. Mid intermediate around it. I have year to reach upper intermediate so I can get accepted. Okay, so when you say upper, are these like literal like breakdowns for school where they're like, hey, you have to take these certain classes and then they tell you whether you're intermediate or not? And if that's the case, are you looking for like the fastest way to get good at art? You know? Is that what we're talking about here? Mm-mm. It's okay, I'm a girl, but I don't mind. I post anything really. Is your name Rusty? You have the best name, by the way, Rusty. Just enough to basic enter job in France. You can do work, study, and program. Well, this is what I would do. Do you see how I'm just like blowing through these drawings? I'm gonna show you this whole book. Uh, the idea is to not draw perfectly, DSF. It's just to draw a lot. There's this thing that happens when you try to draw perfectly where you get mad at yourself constantly and you're beating yourself up. And it's not fun. Oh, no, no. Well, I was just saying, Rusty, a lot of the girls in my family have male gendered names. I just thought it was cool. Welcome to the family, Rusty. No, no, no. You don't give me your real name ever. It's okay. That's not what I was asking. I was just chatting, Rusty. So check this out. This is like what I'm saying is like I'm not trying to do perfect drawings, amazing drawings, realistic drawings. I just want to do a lot of drawings. Because again, you got to remember time is love and time is talent. So when you're looking, you want to be talented or you want to be loved or you want to show love, all it takes is time. Spend the time. And here it is. If you spend the time doing drawings and not time beating yourself up about drawing, you get so much further. Because I'm gonna show you, like everybody does the same thing where you grab a pencil, like you're writing your name, and you go. Everybody, we do. Watch. Everybody starts off and they start doing this little thing here, and it's usually an eye. And we all do it. And you start doing it like this, and you start doing these little tick, 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 tick lines, and then you start trying to draw your little pupil here. And we all do this. And we're drawing all these individual lines, and we're worried about the details and whether the anatomy's right, and like we've looked at a million studies of eyes and eyebrows and how they should sit, and that's frustrating. That's so frustrating. What if I just and I said, you know what, that's close enough, because if you do two of those, look, that's eyes. If I'm stupid enough to do a third one, put a line here. Look, we're almost at a face. Are you kidding me? You see what I'm saying? Like, and I like these eyes better than this one. Like, this is not my favorite. I like this. I like this. I like this. I like this. And I think that over time, if you draw eyes and everything in this fast way, that's fun. It's not stressful. And instead of like, I can see the stress. I can see the stress. Like, look how nice these lines look. Look how fun. Like, look how stressed out this looks. Look how fluid and fun that looks. And I think if you practice that, and that's what I practice in my work, is I'm trying to do stuff that's fun and fluid. And instead of creating stress, we're reducing stress in our life, you know? Well, your nickname did a great job. So over time, I'm doing a lot of drawing. I'm getting better at drawing, and I'm having fun while doing it. Instead of stressing out or adding stress to my life while making art, I'm literally reducing the stress in my life with the art. And then over time, you can start to kind of focus on that. So instead of focusing on how beautiful the art might be, you can focus on how much is it reducing your stress, you know? And as beautiful it is to look at wonderful proportions and perfect shadows and realistic anatomy, I think at the end of the day, what people are really intrigued by, what people are really activated as in an audience is self expression, you know? So I think, thank you so much, Rusty. You're very nice. I appreciate that compliment. But I think like a lot of it is like how much is it a stress relief? How fun is it? This is a request, by the way. So then instead of worrying about drawing pretty pictures, you start to worry about, here's a thing of me like studying some Matisse work. This is a guy from a TV show I was watching at the time. But I still have pages like this where I'm like, how fast can I draw a face from the side? You know? And it's like I don't want to draw the perfect face. I just want to draw it fast. Oh, the nose, mouth. And like I don't care how good it is. I just want it to be there and fast. And that's a lot of what I'm practicing is like how fast. And these are toes. I'm trying to figure out a good way to draw toes in a way that I can do it really fast and fun. Trying to draw a profile fast and fun, more toes, you know, profile, stuff like that. Just practicing how fast can I draw something in profile? How fast and how small of amount of lines can I use? And I'm just practicing like little games that are like exercise, you know? Yeah, you have a wonderful personality, Rusty. You're very kind. I bet you're very talented too. So over time, like I'm de-stressing through these drawings and I'm getting better. And like what's really nice is like when you do an exercise, um, think about like if you're jogging, and you do a physical exercise. So this is for you, DSF, and you, Rusty. If you're doing a physical exercise, Sugar Soul, if you're still hanging out, Dawn, Brinkley, Brinley, if you do a physical exercise, it makes you physically more healthy, physically healthier. Um, Dang, Josh, dude, that's way back. Josh says, I remember the weird crouch you would do while you were painting or drawing. Dude, I'm standing up. I've got a good posture. I'm taking care of my body. That would kill my back. Oh, uh, thank you. I do lots of arts and crafts. Well, check this out. You can do all kind of like YouTube is art. Dancing is art. Singing is art. Writing is art. Designing is art. There's so many different kinds of art. But my question is, if you do a physical exercise, it makes you physically healthier. If you do a creative exercise, what becomes healthier? What part of you becomes healthier by doing a creative exercise? Chat, what do you think? What's the answer? If physical exercise makes you physically healthier, what does a creative exercise do for you? Yeah, I can make paper things I can draw. That all makes me. Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds very awesome, Rusty. Come on, chat. Nobody's gonna try to answer. If a physical exercise makes you healthier physically, what does a creative exercise do for you? Thanks for hanging out, Rusty. All right, I'm gonna get out of here anyway. We are 30 minutes past our stream time, but I think we might stream again this evening. So maybe I'll see y'all again this evening. Boom, you're right, Rusty. That's the answer I'm looking for. Mentally healthy. If you do a physical exercise, it's gonna make you physically healthy. If you do a creative exercise, it's gonna make you mentally healthy. And I think people forget that that's what art is. It's not this pretty picture. You know, like jogging isn't the exercise. Jogging is the health that you get from doing the exercise. I think a lot of the times we're so focused on the end product and the pretty picture that we forget that the end product is the mental health that you get from the time it takes to do this kind of work, you know? You know, so next time you get to drawing, don't feel like what you're trying to do is make something realistic or draw the perfect picture. Yeah, Rusty listened. Well, good. I'm flattered. I'm so flattered. And you're going to explain the same thing to a younger artist one day, Rusty, and it's going to all go full circle. Yeah, so next time you're drawing, keep these things in mind. All right, I'm proud of you. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. Wait, I want to show one particular drawing. The chat requested Superman. And I drew a Superman for chat. What do y'all think? All right, thanks for being here. Be sure and like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. If you want to hang out on the horizontal stream, we will have a horizontal stream after party for about 5 or 10 minutes. So if you want to chat with me a little bit more horizontally, you can see my pearly whites. I'll see you on the horizontal. Otherwise, I'll see you next stream. Thanks for being here. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Fun little chat. Josh, you still hanging out? Oh, it's tough to keep up with two chat. Ooh. Get a little bit of music back up in here. I'm just managing some of these streams that we just did, making sure that they're public, that everybody can see all the beautiful chat and drawings that we did. Well, all right. Thanks for being here. Josh, hit me up. Let's chat soon. We need to work on some music. I'm gonna get out of here, but I might stream again later, Josh.